How do you think that traditional banks and fintechs can accelerate innovation?
You can't just invest and miraculously hope that innovation come up and fintech startups become successful without giving the right environment for innovation to really grow and to be tested. Be a sandbox environment to trial different things for fintech companies and also banks to try out certain new technology, whether it's AI, tokenization. These are the things that sandboxes really expedite the path to innovation.
Hi, Vanessa.
Hi, Pawan.
Thank you so much for coming,
I'm so
taking this time out from your very, very busy schedule. Think about you yourself. So,
Yeah, I can share more. So in the Global Finance and Technology Network GFTN team, I manage all the startup and venture programs. My background was in venture capital. I started an angel network in 2020. So always been in the startup and venture ecosystem.
in fact, GFTN, it has in the last 1 year, it has come so nice, and it's doing great job from the fintech ecosystems also.
Exactly. So while we started off from the Central Bank of Singapore and Monetary Authority of Singapore, we have spun out GFTN out of it because it's not just a Singapore story. We want to be global and we work with global partners like Nucleus software to go that vision.
We'll start with, we are a technology company and we have been in this space for the last 40 years. And innovation is something which is at the core of our business and core of our expertise as well. As what we'll look at innovation. What, from your perspective, from your experience, how do you think innovations is shaping the financial industry globally, from the global perspective? This innovation, core of the innovation remains same, but from region to region, country to country, the meanings could be different. So how do you look at it?
Yeah, I think two parts about innovation and how it affects financial services industry. One is whether you're in a developed market or emerging market, the playing field has been a bit more leveled where in the past only your big banks, your big financial institutions have a shot to win customers, to win B2B businesses. But now a lot of fintech companies have a shot to take that share of the business or partner with the financial institutions to gain a share of the market, whether it's B2C or B2B. I think that's what tech has really enabled for fast-growing fintech startups to keep up and also to do a lot of work where financial institutions used to dominate themselves. The second part is everything's going more cross-border. Companies are not just domestic. We see companies like Nucleus, like the local banks here, all moving out as well. And I think that's what fintech innovation has really brought to the table to ship out all the best products, whether it's from India, from Singapore to the rest of the world.
That's absolutely right. I agree with you. So as you know that this financial world, it starts with the beginners and then with the traditional banks and the established peers. So how do you think that should we ensure that this financial innovation does not create a digital, I would say, digital gap between sections, like we have established traditional banks, then you have the beginners. So how do you ensure that it doesn't create a digital divide?
That's true. I think that's also always one of the risks and concerns when we progress. Are we leaving companies or individuals, residents behind as well? Um, what I really hope to see is fintech companies, the fast growing ones, to make sure they create both the infrastructure for people to be included, or individuals to be included into the ecosystem. From a B2B perspective, we have companies that are building like no-code solutions for developers, for companies not in financial services industry or with very lean tech team to be included in the broader innovation ecosystem. From a B2C perspective, I see a fair bit of financial health, financial inclusion companies bringing out the financial literacy to get people onboarded into digital platforms, to be included in the wider financial services ecosystem as they go digital, as they go mobile first as well. So I think we are counting on both the small scale ups and the big banks to make sure that whether you're a smaller company or every individual, the whole ecosystem move and progress together, and this gap don't create such a long-lasting divide as well. I don't think it's solved yet, but we'll have to see.
Especially when you touched the cross border piece, I think the locally, the inside, for example, in Singapore or India or individually, they are doing very, very good on the digital infrastructure side, but the cross border, there are a lot of challenges still which need to be solved. Of course, in different forums, we keep on hearing a lot of discussions about how to solve these cross-border problems.
Yeah, and sometimes these are conversations not left for the private sector. It's a huge influence from the public sector.
Policymakers.
It's always about regulatory piece. There's a lot of compliance. There's a lot of alignment of data protection. Where are the data stored? Can we bridge, like example, ADA with our version of SingPass, for example? These are the sort of conversations that are multi-year long in order to form an agreement. So I think it's both the private and public sector that have to progress together and to create more conversations to increase that transparency also. Yeah.
That's absolutely right. So how do you think that traditional banks and fintechs can accelerate innovation? So it could be differently in different countries. Like Japan
Yeah.
could have a different, I would say, a rate of innovation. I would say innovative methodology. Singapore, of course, India has always been leading. In this side, Singapore, of course, on the leader
Yeah.
side. But how do you see? Because you look at it from different perspectives.
One thing I see in many markets, in whether it's public sector or private sector, is that they think they can just throw money at the problem and innovation will come out. Whether it's through grants and subsidies and all sorts of incentives, innovation doesn't come up from just throwing money at a problem, right? You can't just invest and miraculously hope that innovation come up when fintech startups become successful. So money is very important. Capital allocation is important, but it's not all. In some markets, compared to others, we have sandbox environment to trial different things. Regulatory approvals take multi-year, and startups don't have the deep pockets to survive a few years without a product going live. So I think in markets where there's sandbox environment for fintech companies and also banks to try out certain new technology, whether it's AI, whether it's tokenization, these are the things that sandboxes really help to expedite the path to innovation. Compared to say markets that are just giving a lot of grants. Or private companies are doing a lot of monetary incentives without giving the right environment for innovation to really grow and to be tested.
Absolutely right. So what do you think? How do you think AI is playing a role in innovation?
I think it expedites a lot of processes in innovation. In the past, we used to A/B test different ideas. We used to do a lot of research, market sizing, or hire a big team with a lot of budget needed in order to trial new products. Everything just got leaner in terms of cost savings. So companies are less resistant to try new ideas, new products, just because it's cheaper with agentic AI. It's also much faster to do research, to do groundwork analytics about the results of certain innovative trials. I think this is not just exclusive to the financial institutions, but any smaller companies and scale ups have the opportunity to innovate as well. How about you? Nucleus software is the expert in the AI field. How do you see this transforming the path to innovation?
I think a lot of people confuse between automation and AI. So they think about automation and maybe talk about AI or the vice versa. So we as a company, we the use cases of AI and innovation is very, very important. So as you correctly said, it's not just throwing money and you think that innovation will come out. So it doesn't work that way. So we are in the lending business. We lending space and the transaction banking space. So we have seen very, very specific cases from the origination perspective, payments perspective, and the debt collections perspective. So how you can reduce NPAs using automation tools from AS, from the AI lens. So AI now it's coming. So identifying the use cases for usage of AI and automation is that's something which we from that lens, not usage of AI because just we want to use AI and something will happen. So
Yeah, it has to be specific to certain workflows that matter to the business.
so how do you think that how do you think we can balance or the financial institutions can balance between AI driven decisions and the human decisions and how to make a balance out of it?
That's a good question. It's always talked about because people are always debating headcount resourcing internally. People are always talking about consumer trust versus automating or using AI for every single decision making and execution. I believe that AI speeds up a lot of processes, But when it comes to data-driven decisions, data-driven analytics, I think AI can independently execute certain decisions and execution. But when it comes to other sort of decisions, whether to include this sector or not, in your case, in lending, for example, whether this person is creditworthy or not, I think AI has really done a very good job expediting that process. But when it comes to like more greenfield technology, more greenfield market, I believe the human intervention, the human ideas are still very valuable. What do you think?
Yes, and it is normally in the financial field, the transparency is very important.
Yeah.
But the customer trust and transparency is very important, and because it's a regulated field, so you have to comply to the policies and the regulations. So how do you think that the people might not see it as a black box?
Yes.
So that is a challenge which normally people again have to see in using AI, and so that it doesn't look like a black box to the regulations, to the policymakers, because finally you have to provide the transparency towards the customer and provide the right data with regulation. So some piece of advice you want to give to the young entrepreneurs on the financial field, or anything you want to give some advice to the new people in adopting these things?
Um, I would say that if you're a founder building in the fintech space, it's not an easy journey, but don't be too fixed at a certain path. For usual fintech company, like, okay, I have to straight away get a license. I need the most sophisticated product. I have to build this product independently. There's so many ways to speed up a process through innovation, whether it's borrowing a license, whether it's doing certain venture build projects with a bank, whether it's using some other people's software while I'm building my own. There are so many paths than just building 0 to 100 by yourself, because that takes a lot of capital, that takes a lot of time. And the advantage of being a startup themselves is speed and agility. So my advice is to not compromise speed and agility for trying to do everything themselves and buying every single thing themselves.
That's a very good answer. And I think I'm sure the new entrepreneurs or the new young generation should be able to learn something from it.
Thank
And
you, Pawan.
thank you so much for, thank you for taking your time out.
Thanks for having me, Pawan.
Thank you so much.